I was gonna say, did you have any other takeaways from Raw?
I guess Bayley. Bayley was on SmackDown.
She's on Raw.
I feel like I see them bouncing back and forth, like with
the faction, yeah.
But definitely Bayley. Yes, definitely Bayley because like I admire her so much now from where she has definitely came up from in NXT. I know a lot of people are very high on her and Sasha, and I will always give her credit for what she has contributed for the women with that match at TakeOver Brooklyn. That match is iconic. That match definitely set a foundation and a pace for women incoming forward, you know, to be able to be taken more seriously. But as far as Bayley herself, it's just her evolution is just so beautiful to me. Because when I viewed her in comparison to the rest of the other 4 horsewomen, I kind of thought that I don't want to say she didn't belong, but it's just that she was the least advanced to me.
Absolutely.
Her character was very stale, very awkward. It was a character that only could resonate with a small audience, children.
Yeah.
She was very awkward on the mic compared to the rest, and Charlotte can't talk for shit, so that says a lot. Her moveset wasn't bad because Bayley can definitely wrestle. However, a lot of her moves aren't as interesting or doesn't get as much pops.
Yeah.
As opposed to what Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha bring out in the ring. I mean, Charlotte, when you think of Charlotte, you think of, yes, her finisher, but you think about when she could do a beautiful Spanish fly or her 50-50 moonsault. I'll say that because sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't.
Not her D+ moonsault.
Sasha, she's so innovative. Wow.
Not her D+ moonsault. Sis gave her a 50-50. I'm weak.
It's because sometimes she lands it and then sometimes she doesn't. I don't know what's going on with Charlotte and the moonsaults. I don't know if it was the implants throwing off the balance or
Probably
something,
was.
bro.
Yeah.
But every time she did,
Probably was.
Every time she did it like she just didn't land correctly, or she had like this much space from her from her opponent.
Right.
But anyways, let me get off of Charlotte because I will drag her for the next 30 minutes if you let me. Back to Bayley. It's just, it seemed as if she didn't even connect to her own character when she was the hugger.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even connect to her. It made it so much easier to just put her aside next to Sasha and just make her a lackey. Because again, Sasha had a personality that could, engage with little girls that want to be like Sasha, but even adults, because she has a very mature like character.
Right.
You know what I mean? That reminds you of a lot of things. Yeah. With Bayley, like I said, it was confined to a small audience. Yeah. So when she had like this heel turn back around 2019, I want to say 2019 going to 2020, and she kind of went from that to this dramatic haircut and then this whole slightly emo phase or whatnot. First, like I said, I didn't want to believe in her at first because she gave me a whole lot of nothing. Right. And I don't want to completely blame her. It sounds like I'm dragging her to filth. I don't want to completely blame her because she was white hot in 1.0, and then Vince decided that he just wanted to ruin her with this Alexa Bliss, This Is Your Life.
That was disgusting.
Storyline segment. It was disgusting. It was crickets the entire time. And Bliss was trying her absolute hardest to work with this. And again, it was just crickets and it was awkward. And it's just like, why are you doing this to Bayley? Like, come on. Like, she literally put the woman on the map and you're just going to sit here and bury her. Now we're going to look at her as a joke. So to see her do this in 2019, and then for her to basically take over the pandemic and hold down the women with
her
Sasha.
And Sasha, that was their
She definitely showed us that she could hold.
That was their era.
Yes,
that was their era.
Definitely. Yeah, I know a lot of people have that's a whole polarizing topic in their own, it's because they were holding all the belts and everyone thought they were hogging everything.
Right.
Like, no, I think that they most definitely deserve that. I think Bayley most definitely deserved that because she sacrificed herself to this company and she got chewed out and people didn't want to take her seriously. And we watched her from there on slowly evolve with her character from going from being emo to being obnoxious but so obnoxious that it was fun. You know what I mean? That's when she just randomly started with this whole ding dong hello thing, and it just stuck with us. And then she slowly moved on to being almost like a Joker-like character.
Yeah.
Not quite like where she was losing her mind like Becky, but she was still delusional.
Yeah, still maniacal.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And what I love watching about her is that over time I got to watch her come into her own and be comfortable with herself and be comfortable in her own skin. Because you could tell when she had that damn ponytail, the side ponytail on her head and whatnot, that she wasn't really comfortable or believing in herself. But when she is in this role, whether she was a tweener or a heel, she was very much comfortable with herself.
Yeah.
So I love that for her. And her character has been a slow development.
Yeah.
To where I have watched her add more moves. She has definitely added more moves to her moveset, changed up her finisher, got more... Sorry, I have an error coming up on my screen.
You're good.
She has gotten more comfortable speaking on the mic. Before she would be so meek and timid and she would almost stutter.
Right.
Like now she says everything with her full chest, which I love.
Full chest.
Yes. And, you know, I almost felt bad for her during that time she got injured and she was supposed to have that I Quit match with Bayley because she literally was riding off of this crazy momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I knew that, and we had so many different like predictions for like how that match was going to go. Like we were thinking like, is that going to be the match where she decides to go full on heel and cut Bianca's braid or whatnot? Right. What happens when Bayley loses? What is she going to do? She came back and she innovated herself, and we watched her go from being a lackey. We could never talk about Bayley without talking about Sasha. We went from talking about her as basically being a lackey to now watching her change up her look, go with this red hair, this whole outfit change, and she's a leader of a faction, and we're all just going with it, and we just love it. Now we could actually just think of Bayley just as herself and not have to constantly think about Bayley and Sasha. You know what I mean? So, and it's funny because, like I said, if you would have asked me, what do you think about Bayley about 3-4 years ago? I'm like, Bayley, I mean, she's okay. She's all right, you know. No, now if people would have me like rank the 4 horsewomen, I definitely would put Bayley either neck and neck with Sasha or right behind Sasha because she definitely came into her own.
Absolutely.
And I love that for her, and I can't wait to see the way Hunter's going to book her.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What do you think about her evolution?
So I think that Bayley, when she kind of came from NXT to the main roster, had good moments, but I feel like as she kind of got deep into the main roster, I would say about 4 to 6 months after she kind of made her transition from NXT and she was still in her I'm a hugger character, I think she outgrew the character because she outgrew that version of, you know, of Bayley. And that's okay. That happens as people. We outgrow, you know, old things about us. But I feel like she was kind of kept there because Vince saw her as foil for everybody else. She essentially elevated all of the Vince faves. Alexa, Charlotte. Yeah. So I feel like she was kind of kept in that box intentionally, not because she wanted to be there, but because of what she can do for other people. I felt like there was a point in time where, you know, even before the heel change or the character change and the heel turn, she was probably the most decorated out of all the 4 horsewomen, but I don't feel like it was because she deserved it. I feel like it was because it was needed for her. Like she needed the belt. You know how we talk about like with guys, it's like, oh, such and such needs the belt. I feel like Bayley at a certain point needed the belt in order to kind of keep her in the same conversation as a Sasha, as a Charlotte, as a Becky. Even though she was just as gifted, if not more gifted than some of them, she had to be given the accolades in order to be like, nah, I'm still just as good. But I feel like obviously with the heel turn, the dramatic haircut, as you said, it really elevated her to a new level. And I think that it brought some stuff out of her that she was looking to bring out of her. I think it was a different side to her. And I feel like that was always there. She just didn't know how to express it. And then as we go into her as being a faction leader, I think she's the only one of the 4 horsewomen that have led a faction. Now that I think about it, I don't think Sasha has led a faction. I don't think Becky has led a faction.
No, but what about Team Bad? Did she lead?
They were a part of it. They were a part of it. I think they were a part of it. Like I feel like PCB, right? Paige was like the mentor. I feel like in Team Bad, I feel like Naomi was the mentor. And then I feel like, I feel like they were like in the factions, but they weren't leading it. You know what I mean? So I don't think that.
Yeah, and they tried it with Sasha, and they tried it one time with Sasha with Zelina and Carmella, but then they kind of just dropped it for some weird reason, and they just became a tag team.
Right. Even though that
technically, yeah, you're right.
Even though that could have been a fire faction, but I think Bayley is the first person out of the 4 horsewomen to lead a faction, and that adds a whole different layer of credibility to her character. So I think that her evolution is very, very awe-inspiring. I think that it's dope. So I think, she just got more comfortable with herself. I think that she kind of grew into herself, as you said. And I'm eager to kind of see where she goes with Kai and Io, because I feel like that's been the common denominator for both of them. I feel like this run with her as a faction leader is ultimately going to determine Bayley's legacy, because honestly, you have people under your wing who, as far as in-ring talent, are comparable to you. I feel like Kai is a great in-ring talent. I feel like Io, obviously great, phenomenal in-ring talent, but their weaknesses are your strength. You are better on the mic than they are. You can lead the charge as a leader, as a mentor, as a mouthpiece for both of them. So I feel like her as a faction leader is ultimately going to determine the trajectory of her career and her legacy overall. That's how I feel about Bayley's kind of evolution, if you will. And I think that Hunter is going to let them run roughshod, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that.